Hi everyone, welcome into this week's My Weekly CBS Fix. Hope you had a wonderful Pesach. Hope you had a wonderful week. This week's video is dedicated as Refuah Shlema for Shom Matcha ben Rachel and Nechama bas Chaya Rivka. May both have a complete recovery, and Le'ila Nishmas Rabbi Victor HaKoyen ben Rabbi Yisrael. Zerotzeit is tonight. This week's Haftorah we read from the book of Yechezkel, in the Parasha of Achray Mos. This week's Parasha we read about the different things that are forbidden for Jewish people to do. And in this week's Haftorah, Yechezkel chastises us for doing those exact things. And the verse says, Al kain nesatich cherpa l'goyim, therefore I put you as an embarrassment for towards the Gentiles. That means the Gentiles view us with contempt, and they become, all of a sudden, the Jewish people will become gross to them. They lose a lot of respect for us, and therefore they degrade us verbally and physically. And as a matter of fact, the Talmud relates that there were two low Babylonian women who got into a fight with each other, and they were throwing insults at each other left and right. And finally, one of them said to the other, "You Jewess, look at that Jewish face of yours." And they finally reconciled. They each asked the other forgiveness. And one of the women said, "I forgive you for everything, but how dare you call me a Jew?" Now, to them, at that time, they were so despised by the Jews, so therefore that became gross. We've spoken about this before, like, how does it make sense at all that Jews should be hated at all? It's not like Jews are troublemakers, where we don't murder, we don't do anything bad. To the contrary, we win a lot of the Nobel Peace Prizes, we bring a lot of things to the world, we're very smart, we help in technology and medicine and many other things. So why are we hated? There's no rational reason that we're hated except for what this pasuk says. Because when the Jewish people don't do what it is that Hashem wants us to do, we become despised, whether or not we like it, whether or not it makes sense to us. That is the facts. Those are the rules of the game. And so therefore, we have to keep that in mind all the time, to follow Hashem's ways. Otherwise, bad things happen to us. And the verse continues a little later in the Haftarah, and Hashem calls us, we're like the dross of silver. We're sigim kesef hayu. Like the dross of silver means when there's silver, you have metal, you have iron, you have tin, you have lead. All those things are mixed in together with the silver, and you put it into a melting pot to eventually take off all the dross, all that stuff, and now you're left away with pure silver. And Hashem says, you're like the dross, we're like the bad stuff. And so what does Hashem say? At the end of the Torah, after these words, it's actually not part of the Torah, but eventually Hashem says, therefore, because of that, I will bring it to Yerushalayim. Now, what will happen in Jerusalem? So one of two meanings. Either in Jerusalem, well, the first one is that in Jerusalem, that is exactly where it's going to become the melting pot, meaning the non-Jewish people, they're going to come, they're going to destroy us, they're going to humiliate us, they're going to degrade us, and then a lot worse than that. We're going to suffer. A lot of people are going to die because of that. And it's bad. It's pretty bad. But ultimately, even though it will destroy us, really ultimately what it's doing, it's purifying us. And we'll become a humbled nation. We'll come to that realization that Hashem, that our friends that we thought were really our friends are not. The Gentiles of the world are not our friends. And ultimately, we can be our own worst enemies. We have to know that we do these things to ourselves because we don't follow Hashem's Torah. And Hashem says, what do you want from me? I asked you not to do it. And now you're giving me no choice, but I have to purify you. And ultimately, we will become purified. And we will become pure silver again. If only we follow Hashem's ways. But when Mashiach comes, Hashem will turn us back into the pure silver that we actually are. Dross of silver means on the outside we look good. We're shining forth like the dross of the silver mixed into it. But really on the inside we're tarnished. So therefore we have to get rid of that tarnish. We have to polish ourselves, become the pure silver that we really can be on the inside. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos.